YouTube! The JasonTheWeen situation is disturbing. I don't watch any of his content, but it is interesting that all of these streamers and or content creators are finding themselves in some sort of controversy. Lock in!
Just lying on the internet for impressions, bro. Yeah, you're right. It's not even lies. He's just falsely accusing me of directly involved. Okay, bet. All right, bet.
I don't know what it is. How the does JasonTheWeen have anything to do with the like
recently, after the entire David situation that has been going down with him being put into court and him actually being put behind bars, a lot of people have taken this opportunity not to sit there and point at David and dissect the case with their chat, talk about how David is not a good person and why everything that went on is pretty bad, and basically just go over all the crazy stuff that has happened since then. Instead, a lot of streamers slash clip pages have used this as an opportunity to try and sit there and hate farm JasonTheWeen because he had a couple of streams with David, basically lying on his name for attention and clicks. I'm only commentating on this to talk about the weird accusations being put on JasonTheWeen's name. I do not condone.
Whoa, that must be some crazy hindsight. Like, he's being charged with murder, possibly convicted, and you had him on his stream. A lot of people who fucked with him are looking themselves in the mirror, are gonna have to backtrack in some way, shape, or form. Dang, yeah, the internet is not gonna let stuff like that go. So JasonTheWeen really had him on his stream. This could get ugly.
Support or in any way aid to any of the false things that are being placed upon him and his connection with David. I want to make that very clear from the start so that when I dive into the backgrounds of JasonTheWeen along with David's connection, people don't assume that I'm trying to say or agree with all of the wild things that have been put on top of JasonTheWeen's name. That is just not the case at all. But I do still want to start from the very beginning with who even are any of these two in case you're unaware.
You know what I'm saying?
I thought you were older because I'm 20 and I thought that was young.
That's why I call you big bro.
Yo! Wait, you're 04?
05.
What the?
Tell my March baby, bro. Chat
Wait.
gonna start calling you Unc now.
Nah.
It's over.
Nah,
It's
I'm
over.
not Unc.
Timestamps in case y'all want to skip around. For anyone who's unaware of any of the people that you just saw on screen, JasonTheWeen is a very popular streamer who does a mix of content from IRLs to desktops to reactions to even making songs. And at one point decided to do a collab with David, the other person you saw in that clip, who is a songwriter who's in a lot of heat right now for a ton of things that happened between him and a young girl that was found in his Tesla. But at the time, JasonTheWeen and the public were unaware of this, so him and Jason ended up doing a bunch of different collabs, from making a song together to being featured in his music video.
Wait, this was going on at the same time? Surely that's not what he's implying by saying that he didn't know anything about this, is that David was actively hitting somebody and then just going on streams and doing collabs. That's vile if that's the case.
To just being around or seen with him on stream from time to time.
How tall is David? Hey, look, there's been a lot of discourse. Regarding my height. I'm gonna just say, Jason is taller than me by about an inch.
No.
by about an
That
inch.
is not an inch,
By
bro.
about an inch, but
That is not an inch, bro.
by about 2 inches. By about 2 inches.
Nah.
By about 3 inches. By about 3 inches. But
Clips of the two
I'm never gonna understand the homeless fashion trend. Holes in your shirt? Come on, buddy.
on stream started circulating like crazy and doing crazy amounts of numbers. Along with something that aided this was the fact that Jason and David ended up making a song on stream that a lot of people adored and loved, which they ended up also filming a music video for, which went super viral. It seemed like that collab was just like any other one that was pushing David's name along with JasonTheWeen's name out there to a lot more people. Unfortunately, one day we got the news that David was going to be a suspect in a case after a body was found in his Tesla. And everybody was shocked to hear about this. Everybody was in complete awe as they couldn't understand or even see the possibility of that being David, because he apparently had so many alibis at the time, from being on tour to having this personality of some guy who would never do such a thing, to just a lot of people being very skeptical of the situation. And unfortunately for most people without a platform, them voicing how they feel about it or voicing any concerns that they might have with the information that was being released won't really be affected. JasonTheWeen had a big streaming audience So anytime he spoke about the situation with David, negative or positively, it was going to get clipped and shared instantly.
Hey, I'm gonna say this right now. He didn't anybody, bro. He didn't anybody. There's no way. There's no way he's been on tour. He didn't anybody. He's been on tour. He literally performed yesterday. Bro, do you see the videos that he makes? There's no way he's somebody. He was framed. Either he was framed or my theory is someone and stole David's car and left it in the trunk. But I'm also not a detective, so.
Yeah, but common sense would tell you how they have access to David's car, for one. And David has a lot of money and a lot of influence in his space, respectively, at the time. So he could have just as easily hired someone to do it, paid someone to do it, got a connection to do it. Diddy wasn't there when Tupac got shot, but his name is still tied to the murder. I mean, that. So, I don't know. A lot of these streamers, you just got to take them with a grain of salt because they don't really have any real takes. They just say things at the first whim, the thought. You know what I'm saying? Not a lot of thought going behind what they're saying.
We talked about the situation
With David?
Yeah,
He didn't do it.
he's not.
No.
Thank God, bro, because I was still gonna listen to his music. I was just worried that I'd be if I did.
No, listen, he didn't do it. He literally performed the next day. If he was a suspect, the police would have been after him. He's not a suspect.
He's not just escaping the police clutches.
No. And I'm going to perform. We're going to perform on the 20th, me and David.
When all this news first broke out, it would have been better for Jason to just say nothing. Because I know he's looking back at some of these.
Just because you're a suspect doesn't mean the police immediately have to come after you. They could be building a case, like a RICO case. You know, some like not to that degree, but they could just be building a case, gathering evidence, collecting information from viable resources, etc.
These clips completely mad at himself. Again, this was all before any real evidence came out and before the internet detective started collecting videos, having past live streams, looking at tattoos that David had. This is all very brand new. But even then, this is very negligent on JasonTheWeen's part to even speak or discuss this when an ongoing case is going on. So out of this entire situation, this is definitely a mistake and misstep on his part because a lot of the internet used this as an excuse to blame JasonTheWeen for not only having a connection with David when all of this stuff was still pretty new, but also apparently trying to defend him after more and more evidence came out, to the point where he had to have his friends on stream, Lacey and Stable Ronaldo, actually defend him, because a bunch of people were trying to point at JasonTheWeen and say he definitely had some involvement, he might have helped David, he has some connection or some way knew something about everything that was going on with the David case, when if you think about that for a second, that sounds beyond far-fetched.
Yeah,
Bro, stop with this shit. I don't know about this shit. By the way, I don't give a fuck. Y'all can call me a writer. Y'all can do the. But I don't know why y'all think that JasonTheWeen has any type of fucking involvement into what happened with the David dude, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't know if it's the state clips. I don't know if motherfuckers are autistic. I don't know what it is. How the fuck does JasonTheWeen have anything to do with the fucking like bro, motherfuckers lost the plot. Genuinely, have they lost the plot? Have they lost? Like, I do not understand, bro. I don't know, bro. I don't know.
And a 15-year-old girl is, and instead of being human and being like, oh, that's horrible, that's sad, that's so evil, somehow you guys try to link Jason. Y'all realize that just because you do a stream with someone or make a song with someone, like, you guys act like Jason has absolutely nothing to do with this at all. If someone has the capability of another human being and talking to an underage girl and hiding it for years, that person is sick in the head, as a sociopath, a psychopath.
Now, obviously, the normal.
Whoa. The internet is crazy. Jesus! That's why you gotta be careful with what you do and what you post and what you say. Mind you, what JasonTheWeen said was pretty ignorant and pretty negligent on his part for an ongoing case. You got to ask yourself, if your favorite creator, your friend in real life, anybody, if they came out on the news as a suspect in a murder case for an underage girl that they had an intimate relationship kept in secret for a period of time, would you just immediately be quick to defend them? And if you are, I mean, a lot of things go into it, but I would also question you. You know what I'm saying? Because people are capable of anything. And oftentimes, murderers, they're not flamboyant with it. They're not, hey, I'm killing somebody, I'm getting off on. No, they're gonna put on a facade, they're gonna put on a mask, put on a face, lure in their victim. You got to remember, these people are predators. And what do predators do with their prey? They stalk them, they hunt them, they strategically manipulate the situation into their favor so they can execute the kill. But what the internet is trying to do right here is just link Jason to it through guilty by association, when this situation doesn't apply in any magnitude. So what a lot of these people need to do, they need to touch grass. They have lost touch with reality. There's no way you're really trying to say that, oh, he possibly has some type of involvement. And in some world, this may be true in some world, but I don't think it is. You know, I think he was just trying to promote him because, yeah, he had a song coming out and stuff, and he spent this short amount of time with him, and that persona and facade that he was given is what he believes, because that's all he knew at the time. So him being his friend, you know, I mean, that's really controversial in that, you know, because you don't really know the dude. So that was your first mistake, calling him your friend when you don't really know him. You guys were associates, right? But he was just trying to defend his friend as to what he saw and what he believed. And so quick to call somebody your friend, look where it got you.
The most sentiment that a lot of people are going to have is JasonTheWeen just outspoke when he didn't need to, and when a lot of people on the internet didn't have a lot of evidence. And once more evidence comes its way, you can't delete these clips or the original stuff that you said when basically everybody knew nothing. So once a bunch more people are like, hey, we can definitely tell that David's involved in some way, we can definitely tell that there was a relationship in some way, people are still pulling up those old clips when basically everybody knew nothing. And JasonTheWeen had spoke about the situation, saying that he was innocent, saying that he was still going to perform with them, and using that as evidence to say JasonTheWeen definitely knew and is just trying to defend his friend, in air quotes obviously, even though y'all can't see them, against the media, and trying to save his PR as all of this stuff goes on, when in actuality that's not the case.
And you got to ask yourself, JasonTheWeen has been part of that phase group, or just that group he's been in, for a much longer time than he's known David. You think he's gonna throw away all of that for David and helping him and assisting him in murdering a young girl, knowing that it's going to get found out, knowing that the detective work is going to happen, and that there's a high likelihood that it's going to get linked right back to him if he has any involvement, knowing it would destroy his career? Come on now. I mean, if Jason was really that stupid, I highly doubt he would be as wealthy as he is right now and have as large as an audience he's garnered up to this point. People just lack common sense, man. I don't know if it's the lack of getting out there and actually having real life experience and just getting to know people and just maneuvering through life, but man, some of y'all need to touch some grass. You know, that green stuff outside? It smells pretty good in the morning. Wet mildew when it rains, that stuff. Y'all need to go out there and play in it, okay? You know, re-engage with it. Re-engage with your roots.
And it got so bad to the point that JasonTheWeen had to get on stream himself and denounce all of the old stuff that he said, and said that he was not actually friends with David and only did streams with him.
Because the narrative that's been spun on Twitter. First off, I want to retract my statement. Obviously, the other day, I was defending David before all the new evidence came out. I do not condone anything that David has done or is doing. Okay, that shit is wicked and it's just unbelievable. It's been a lot to process. And one more thing, I want to say, the girl that I met named Celeste at the Phase House is not the same Celeste that was RIP to that girl. One thing I also want to add to the David situation. I did not know anything. I'm not even close friends with David. I made a song with him. All right, I had dinner with him one time in a group setting, and then motherfuckers saying I'm best friends with him. No, bro.
Now, obviously,
That's what I just said. And that's your fault. You didn't know the dude. You had one dinner with him, couple collabs, made a couple music, but you guys weren't friends. If you would have just understood that from the jump, then in that moment when you were thinking about speaking on the topic, your answer would have been different. because you wouldn't have been operating from a place where you believe you guys are friends. And that's what you truly believe. Don't try to backtrack now and try to save face. You know what I'm saying? That part is true. You thought you guys were friends. You were gloating about it on the internet, not gloating, but being boastful about it, saying it, speaking on it, right? But his actions, yeah, are not to be condoned. But this is something that a lesson to be learned here. Like, for example, like a relationship, you start off as friends ideally, right? So there's no type of expectations, no type of I need this from you, you need this. No, we get to know each other, feel each other out, understand each other's boundaries. And then say you guys get into a relationship, now you're boyfriend and girlfriend. A lot of relationships fail because they go through the honeymoon phase and then that's all they rely on. No, after the honeymoon phase, possibly you guys get to know each other's family, you start going out, and you guys start actually normalizing the relationship, holding hands, kissing. It becomes a natural thing between one another. You guys move in together. You guys are gonna have to learn each other's habits, little tidbits like that. And if you don't want to continue the relationship at that point, your first argument with each other, how you guys handle that. And then when you get married, have kids, there's so many dynamics to a relationship, just for example, that you can't be so quick to call someone your friend. You get to know them. You get to know their quirks. You get to know their dislikes. You get to know the bad things about them, the good things about them. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're going to accept somebody, you have to accept both the good and bad. And then can you respect how they move? Are they someone that grows? Are you someone that grows? Do your guys' interests align? Have you guys spent a significant amount of time together outside of the initial thing that got you guys together and hooked each other? So if video games was it, or if it was at work, are you guys going to see the movies or going to play basketball together on the weekend? And have you guys went through any type of trials or tribulations? I go on and on and on and on and on and on. Moral of the story, take your time. Don't be so quick to speak on something. Don't be so quick to call someone your friend. You'll get bit in the ass for that. I've learned my lesson the hard way. And if you're smart, you learn from your own mistakes. But if you're wise, you'll learn from someone else's. And if you're wise, you'll learn from what I'm saying, so you don't have to experience it yourself.
State again that JasonTheWeen speaking out at all before a lot of evidence came out is negligence on his part. I'm pretty sure he knows. I'm pretty sure you as the audience knows. And he understands moving forward that he should not do that. But after stating to not only his audience, but the rest of the world that he is not condoning anything that David has done, he denounces him actually defending him, and he is not cool or friends with him because he doesn't even hang out with him off stream and only went to a dinner with him in a setting that was with more people. You would think that after all of this settled down, people would stop comparing or talking about JasonTheWeen having a connection with David at all. In all reality, that should have been the case, but it definitely wasn't. Still, more and more people were going on and on about JasonTheWeen still having some sort of connection with David. And something that was fueling a lot of this were these clipping pages, making fake posts like this. FaZe Jason is connected to both a pred and an alleged. What's next? JasonTheWeen now regrets defending David after backlash he received. JasonTheWeen backtracks to "we were not friends" after defending David and calling him his best friend for months. Fans believe FaZe Jason knew about David's past with Celeste and tried to cover it up. FaZe Jason still hasn't changed his stance after defending David last week, even as new evidence proves him guilty. I should not have to explain to y'all why this is weird behavior. We have already talked about clipping channels and how they actively post misinformation on a daily basis. That's normally with crazy out of context clips with stuff that's not as important. While still weird, it's never on this level to an actual suspect that is going through a literal.
I'm still curious as to the time frame of everything, because Jason, there was that clip of Jason speaking on it with the other dude. I guess it was a podcast or whatever, and he was asking about the situation, and he was like, "Oh no, he's innocent. We got a song next week." So that means they would have spent time prior to, you know, making music, etc., doing the live streams. So that means there's a high possibility that while David was coming on those streams and stuff, he was also in the background planning and plotting the murder of that girl, and or already did it. That is what's getting me. Could you imagine if you did a collab or a stream with somebody and then that information came out? Like, it would reevaluate everything. I mean, from that point moving forward, I wouldn't be making no new friends. What? That's crazy.
Legal case and trying to pin a person that has literally nothing to do with it being involved in some way. But it reached a catalyst recently when KickChamp posted something he probably regrets now after David was actually appearing in court because of everything that was going on.
Oh my fucking god. A lot of texts and phone calls back and forth were seen by the police. This is actual defamation. Hope Rainbed's paying you enough, buddy. Hope Rainbed's paying you enough, buddy. I know exactly how much they're paying you too, buddy. Hey, they offered Ween updates bread too. Exactly. Hey, it's not enough. It's not enough, but
JasonTheWeen was the closest person to David before his charges and could possibly be a suspect. April 12th, 2025, 11 days before, Jason performs live on stage with David at Coachella. A lot of texts and phone calls back and forth were seen by police. April 25th, 2025, 2 days after David drops his album Withered, where Jason had already been tied to the promo cycle, appearing in a music video for What Are You Waiting For, filmed/released in late March 2025 with Pokimane. JasonTheWeen and Pokimane are directly involved with David's case as they shot a music video with him acting out a
literally just lying on the internet for impressions, bro. Sue who? I'm about to sue KickChamp, bro. Enough is enough. This dude's literally just...
Yeah, you got to. And that dude, whoever the KickChamp dude is that's running that account, is a weirdo. Loser! Is a goofy boy, a goofy goober. I'm a goofy goober, yeah. Stupid. Like, bro, you ain't got nothing else better to do besides post negative content every single day. I can only imagine the type of individual he is and the type of conversations and lifestyle it must be to have around this dude. Like, oh my God, like, but Jason, bro, this is your problem, brother. Like, you've been on the internet for how long? I don't know, but you do, and you know how the game is better than I do. So you getting caught up in situations like this, I mean, there's nothing I can say about it besides you just gotta move better. You getting caught off your pivot too many times, man. They're catching you traveling and carrying and doing some more stuff, man. Just do a simple layup, get to the bucket, and get your 1-2 in, man. You need to find your rhythm. This is crazy. And it's like the whole Deshae Frost, right? You've been doing the same content for a long period of time. Have you not figured out a system to conduct yourself when you're dealing with an abhorrent person in your eyes, right? Instead of lashing out because you feel some type of way? You know, not that these are one and the same, but the sentiment is, you know what I'm saying? It's like complaining about the same thing in life and then not doing anything about it. If I expect X, Y, and Z people to do X, Y, and Z things, then I'm either A, not going to do X, Y, and Z things to perpetuate what they're doing, and or two, I'm just going to ignore it because I already expect that behavior. And what's already expected can't surprise me.
Weirdo, bro. Yeah, you're right. It's dead ass not even lies. He's just falsely accusing me of shit. Like what, bro? Directly involved. Okay, bet. I bet. Nah, I'm saving this shit. Let me save this shit. Hey, Pokimane texting me back.
Bro, I can't stream it more, bro. Like, bro, why is this like lying on me, bro?
Pick yourself, man. Get yourself together, brother.
Accusing me of shit that I'm not even involved in, bro. I don't feel good, chat. I don't know if I can stream tomorrow, bro. She's going through a lot right now, bro.
It's one thing to sit here and lie for a clip. A bunch of people do it all the time with fake captions, having clips that are like decades old, and saying the most outrageous things with literally no context in them. But something like this, in a very serious situation where actual victims and trying to pin a random person who just happened to collab with the guy, is odd and weird, and leads to stuff like this with them threatening to sue, them actually going through with it. Not just JasonTheWeen, but in that clip, I don't know if you heard, he also said he was texting Pokimane to get her involved as well. And as of him saying that and a bunch of the clips going viral of him talking about suing, KickChamp, the actual page that posted all that stuff, took down not only those 2 clips you saw right there, but also took down a variety of other times he was talking about JasonTheWeen. If you go to his page right now, you basically never end up seeing him say his name even once, just out of nowhere, because JasonTheWeen threatened to sue him, which I understand trying to get money, but there is no way lying about something this serious is worth the 3 cents you are going to get off of a Twitter paycheck. And it's not like this KickChamp guy hasn't done stuff like this before. He has lied on other FaZe members, like when he lied on Lacey for apparently not donating to cancer research like he said he would.
Range. Like, how low of a person do you have to be to use cancer to clickbait to get impressions? You know how much of an actual loser you have to be to use cancer to clickbait for impressions? Like, that's sad. That's weird. Like, that you have to be genuinely, like, actually, like, I raised money for breast cancer because of my mom had breast cancer, and for a page to just like use.
He ain't even got to say all that. It's the fact that he's doing that and the dude who's posting and clipping him isn't doing that. It's just weird behavior. He's a weirdo. He's a loser. He's a goofy, y'all. There's no if, and, or buts, or no in-betweens. But like I said, if this is to be expected, then why are we surprised? I wouldn't even give this any type of energy. That's the problem right there, is giving it energy in the first place. Just keep doing what you're doing. You ain't got to explain yourself to nobody. The people that are going to hate, there's no reason why you should worry about people who hate, who have negative behavior and stuff like that, because it's easy to do that. People are going to just do that naturally. They're going to hate. They're going to be jealous. They're going to be envious. They're going to talk bad about you. So the best thing you could do is not worry about it and let them do that. But here's the great thing about that. Now you don't have to do that to yourself. You can give yourself grace. You can back up off yourself. You know what I'm saying? Let yourself breathe, because you don't have to hate yourself. You don't have to talk bad about yourself. You don't have to do any of that. You can speak positive life and grandiose things into yourself, you know what I'm saying, and elevate your spiritual being to a higher plane, because there's already going to be other people doing all of the negative stuff for you. You get what I'm saying? I'm trying to get you to understand something here. You let them do it, and then you can focus on the positive stuff, the positive energy, and you can accumulate that in yourself, and then let everything outside you reflect that. That negative energy and all that stuff, it only operates in their world, because as soon as what he just did right here, JasonTheWeen, he sues them, his whole world shuts down. He doesn't have any control. And it sucks and it's sad to say, I mean, that you have to go to those lengths of, oh, I'm going to sue you for you to take down a simple post, when you and I both know that it's just some lame behavior. You know what I'm saying? For some money. Like, find a different lane, bro. Find a different avenue, because this ain't it, gang.
That just to get impressions, and not only that, but lie about it to get impressions. It's so weird. Like, I genuinely hope, bro, this page needs taken down, bro.
Clip pages have been a very big problem for a while now, with many other people making entire videos dedicated to the topic. But if we're getting to the point where we literally don't even care about what we're posting, and we are trying to frame people for being suspects in a serious case, I feel like we have lost the plot in this entire internet game as a whole. There is no way you care this much about getting $2 to $3 from Twitter that you are going to lie about something that is this serious. And I hope JasonTheWeen actually doesn't end up suing this page, and that continues onward, because clip pages like this face no real repercussions for being able to lie and just spread misinformation left and right, and they completely understand that this is going to have real repercussions for the people that they're mentioning, but they just don't care. So they need actual consequences.
Yeah, there's going to be people who see that post, never go watch JasonTheWeen, and they just run with that. And now he has that on his name, even though it's a lie and it was never true to begin with. It was just a spread of misinformed and manipulated information to garner attention, views. Okay, like, that's crazy.
In order to stop them from doing it. But at the end of the day, that is just how I feel. If you want to talk about you feel the best.
Yeah, man, that's a crazy situation. David, do not condone his actions. He needs to be convicted. Y'all need to get off of JasonTheWeen. You feel me? Because all he did was associate himself with somebody that he didn't really know. Called him his friend. They did a couple of collabs together, spent some time together. But that was all. That was it. Even with 2020, he realized that they really weren't friends. And that's the moral of the story. Don't Don't be quick to call everybody your friend. You need to vet people. Take your time with people. Life is a marathon. You don't have to rush anything. That's why they say give it time. Start applying that to everything. But let me know how y'all feel down in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And you already know, I'm not Kenny, but that's okay. I'm just like you.